Have you ever wondered why the moon is up in the sky? I mean, obviously nowadays we know why. I mean, gravitational pull of the Earth, space mess that floats around. I mean, it's all science and we can all explain it. But back in the day, 200, 300 years ago, we didn't know all that kind of stuff. So there was one wonderful story about why the moon is up in the sky. There were three brothers. They were travelers, and at one point they came across a small little town that had this kind of weird orb hanging in the tree. It was really a special orb because it gave light. Normally at night, towns would darken, streets would darken, you couldn't travel. This town had light at night, and that was something they wanted to know more about. So they asked someone to walk by, like, hey, what's this thing in this tree? We want to know about it. And the man said, well, this is our moon. The pastor bought it a while ago, and ever since we have light at night, and it's really nice. Hearing that, the three brothers kind of wanted to have a moon for themselves. They were like, yeah, we shouldn't steal it, that's bad. But the pastor bought it, so maybe he can buy another one, right? That's how it works. So one night, they grab a cart. One of the brothers climbs into the tree, and they cut the moon down and take the moon home with them. And then they hang it in their tree at their house. And indeed, they too have light at night. And they spend the rest of their lives cleaning the moon, taking care of the moon, making sure that the moon will shine as bright as it possibly can. But then one of the brothers dies. And they're like, we've all taken care of the moon. It's only fair that we give him his piece of the moon, a third, and let him take it with him to his grave. So that's what they did. And a couple years later, the second brother dies. And the same thing happens. The moon used to shine still quite a bit brighter, but with only 2/3, it shone quite bright as well. But now there was only 1/3 left because this second brother also took a bit of the moon with him to his grave. And the light was getting darker and darker, and the eldest brother also eventually died. And the townspeople were like, he too should just take his piece of the moon with him to his grave. So all brothers are dead, and the moon is buried with them. So how does the moon come up into the sky? Well, in the afterlife, the moon reconnected. The three pieces grew back together, and they shone quite brightly. The thing is, the ghosts and the spirits in the afterlife quite enjoyed that moon, because normally, the afterlife was dark and dreary and you couldn't really see anything. It was quite horrible. But with the moonlight, they could finally see, they could do what they wanted. And, they had parties all night. And that was something that Petrus, from Heaven's Gate, didn't really like. It was like, loves, you died. You need to be, rest in peace, not rest in party. Come on, go back. I will take care of the moon. So what did he do? He took the moon, he flew up into the sky and placed it in between the stars. And that's why we now have a moon at night. At least according to that tale, of course.